Why do some players improve so rapidly, while others still don't seem to improve even after years of playing? Ronnie?
It depends on how you learn. Some people learn good, they learn correctly, and some are learning improperly.
Can you define correctly, if you can? You can pause to answer the question. It's kind of
okay. Just give me a second here. Okay, so... I mean... I'm taking the headphones off so I don't hear myself. I don't have an exact definition on correct and incorrect learning. It's kind of something that I have an intuition of. So, for instance, for me, learning correctly would be like, okay, you're going to commit to this game, and you're going to watch videos of what the pro players are doing. You're going to examine those videos, and you're going to take notes from what they're doing. And you're going to practice your mechanics when playing people. So you just keep playing and playing your same character over and over until you get the hang of their mechanics so well that you can start moving really smoothly and get a good flow with them. And so, and I guess playing to learn, that's also part of learning correctly. You're not playing to win. I mean, you want to win, but winning is the reward for correct learning.
That is actually a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
Winning is the reward for correct learning.
It's kind of like, I guess it's kind of like school, really. Like, they're teaching you stuff. And if you pay attention and you listen to what they do, and you take notes and do your tests and everything, then you'll get a good reward out of it. But if you're just going to school for the sake of passing, trying to get an A, or just passing the class, really, you're not going to get an A if you're not learning correctly to begin with. So if you're just trying to pass the class and cheating and everything, then you're probably going to get a lower grade. So,
and even if you do get a higher grade, you're not going to be learning as much for the future.
Yeah. So, I mean,
that's a really good way to compare like using gimmicks to win versus just playing to learn.
Yeah, and I think Japan is a great example of playing with a style that doesn't rely on what I would call desperation tactics. I mean, I hope I'm not getting sidewinded here with the answer or anything. I don't want it to be too long. But that's the reason why I respect Japan so much, because they have a very solid play style that doesn't rely too heavily on gimmicks as far as I can tell, whereas in America, we tend to rely more on what I just referred to as desperation tactics.
Like Scrooging or
yeah, like Scrooging, Sharking. I mean, nothing wrong with those tactics, but sometimes people tend to overly rely on them because they just want to win. And so they don't really have a solid play style. They just play really, really gay. And then once people get better and catch up with dealing with those tactics, then that player's going to...
It ends up hurting them in the long run.
Yeah. So that's my answer.
Rio, do you have anything to add on to that?
I guess, like, a lot of players don't really know how to see their habits or why they're bad. Like, a lot of people they automatically just go to, oh, I'll never learn anything from it, or what's going on. I don't know what the problem is. It's because you're not looking at it for you to improve. You're not looking for your mistakes. You just think that this, like, the game itself is screwing you over. Like, a lot of people don't actually look for the problem. They want people to give them the answer to the problem instead of looking for it themselves. And that's what makes a good player versus a bad player.
That's a really good point.
Sorry, go.
Like, a good player will know what's wrong with them. A bad player will have to ask for advice. If you can't figure out what's wrong with yourself, then you can never really get better at the thing that you're doing. Like, why am I not good at doing this? Or any of that. Like, if you can't answer that yourself, then how else are you going to get better in life itself if you can't do that even just for a small video game? That's kind of how I look at it. Like, looking at my character with Ike and stuff, like, in the beginning I was really bad. And then, like, everyone says, like, oh, one day, Rio, you got really good. I'm like, yeah, because I watched myself. I looked at what I was doing wrong. And I'm like, oh, this is what I need to improve on. And so I built a style around what would actually work. Sure, it went through experimentations, because you have to experiment in order for you to get better, and that's what the steps are. You can't just keep doing the same thing unless it works. Like, if it ain't broke, don't break it. But if it needs to be fixed, fix it up. Like, it's just kind of like that kind of mentality.
I think there was one point that you said that I really want to touch upon. That actually, I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but it's a player named Sky. He made a couple of videos. Go visit his channel on YouTube and subscribe, actually. Really funny stuff. I don't care if you don't play League. A lot of what he teaches and preaches about, can be applied to any competitive game. So look up Sky Williams. I believe. Do you know what his actual YouTube account is called?
I don't know. I'm not subscribed.
Look up Sky Williams, League of Legends, and you'll find him. If anything, I'll put a link into my Twitch, or I'll feature his channel on my channel on YouTube, so you can find it through that. But one of his earlier videos was explaining why the difference between a player that gets better and not is one that really knows how to accept the responsibility for getting hit or losing or any of that. He's not the player that's going to go and complain about the character he's fighting against, the situation that just happened. Oh, I tripped, that's why I lost. Any of that stuff. Or, I guess in the case of League, like complaining about an OP team composition, or one bad teammate screwing over the whole team, or whatever the case is. Like, all those things are all things that you're pointing away from yourself and putting the blame on other aspects other than yourself. And it's only when you really, take responsibility. That was what the whole video was about, was taking responsibility for your actions in the game, understanding that you lost because you need to get better. And you have to recognize the situations that you got hit, analyze why you got hit, not why they hit you. Like, in the sense that, don't worry about what is broken about the character that made them hit you. Worry about what you could have done better to not get hit. I hope that answers your question. That's my favorite thing to focus on.
Yeah, I think the points about being aware of your own bad habits and everything, I think that's a really good point that I don't think I brought that up myself. So, but that's part of, that's another example of learning correctly, being aware of your bad habits. That's one of the most important things to do, actually, if you want to get better at anything.
Yeah, and to be honest, I mean, this is a topic that we can go on and on about, so I have to say it is a very, very good question. I do encourage others to try and take that question off the pedestal. We have another 13 minutes. One or two good questions could actually do it. But Jared, good job. You're in the running for a question of the day for sure, considering you're the only person that asked a question
Wait, was
today
that
so
teachable?
far.